106 meters high. This is atop the Moses Mabhida Stadium here in Durban, which has been hosting the World Climate Change Conference. This week we're going to go behind the scenes of the intense and extremely complicated media machinery that puts this entire event together. We're also going to talk in depth about Brand Durban. A warm and windy welcome to Mags on Media. First up this week, 20,000 delegates from 195 countries at the World Climate Change Conference. So how was the media accommodated to bring you up-to-the-minute news and analysis? Also, how did the E-News channel bring you our in-depth coverage? Let's go behind the scenes now of this big media machine here in Durban.
My task is to run the media operation at conferences of the parties. So I work with the host government, in this case with DIRCO and with the Department of Environmental Affairs. And between the three of us, we put together the media operation that is based largely on a model that has been developed within the United Nations system and is delivered out to large summit-type events.
There were a lot of big stories happening around the world: Middle East uprising, Japan tsunami. That we had run out of cash, but we needed to make this work, and that was the first thing, trying to get authorities to give us enough money to put this together. And secondly was the fact that when UN goes to any city, they take over, and they took over Durban. No one could find accommodation.
My job is to ensure that we get a quality broadcast, facilitating all crews editorially and technically. Everything must be smooth on air, and that is the crux of my job.
COP17 has been quite a tough assignment. It's complicated, it's highly scientific, but it's not only about climate change, it's also about economics and politics. And it's our job to really try and bring this back to the viewer. Why should they care? How is this going to affect them? Why is this conference important to them? And that's really the struggle on a day-to-day basis, is bringing it back to the viewer to make it understandable and relevant.
The United Nations, since its very beginning, has always opened its doors to the media, has had media accreditation, has brought the media in, and has allowed it to see and observe and to comment upon what happens there.
I run around a lot. I look out for people who believe in what they do, they have a passion for what they do, and they have a good story to tell, and hopefully it'll be a story that will touch our viewers.
I tend to bridge the gap between the technical and the content editorial, making sure that things flow smoothly and that everyone is able to be cued and that the execution of the on-air content is executed perfectly.
Climate change has become very much an issue that has grabbed media attention since 2009, when it very much came to a head in Copenhagen. That climate change is a very complex issue. It touches so many different areas of society.
Being a video editor on such a huge conference is quite complex because the scripts that I get are usually very information filled. So I need to bring the story back to the viewer. I need to storytell using lots of visuals.
My main focus here at COP17 has been covering the plenaries, covering the big issues and the big outcomes of all the debates, speaking to all the key people and then communicating that to our audiences. I do the live crossings, some of them, and then I do some of the packages as well.
The challenge has been to take what we have, which is a modern, workable conference center here in Durban, and to shape that into what is suitable. The efforts the government has made to galvanize the nation in support of this event are truly impressive, because we arrived here with service providers who knew exactly what COP17 was, and the energy that they have brought to the event in terms of working through the night to install what needed to be installed, to connect what needed to be connected.
Coffee is extremely important in my job because I've got to try and stay acute and stay awake when things start falling apart and I've got to troubleshoot. So yeah, it helps.
So that's how this big and complicated story was reported in Durban. And when Mags on Media continues, brand Durban and how it's changed over the years. We'll be in conversation with the head of tourism. All ahead when we continue.